What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. Another episode of Greenlit Gang TV. We got to do another update on the Florencia 13 gang. We did a video a few months ago on the murder of LAPD officer Fernando Arroyos that happened, back in 2022, actually January 10th of 2022 to be exact. If you guys remember, Fernando Arroyos, LAPD officer, off duty with his girlfriend, was house shopping, was approached by three Florencia 13 gang members. A couple of them hopped out of the truck. They proceeded to rob Fernando Arroyos and his girlfriend for their belongings. A shootout ensued. Fernando Arroyos was murdered right there in an alley. All three gang members at the time were rounded up, as well as one of the gang members' girlfriends. They were charged. I just did a video a couple weeks ago. They were all sentenced, except the girlfriend. She's getting sentenced here in another month or so. But all three Florencia 13 gang members were sentenced, okay? Well, we just got another update to do. A few days ago, 37 members of Florencia 13 were indicted at the federal level, all right? The exact day was August 6th, Tuesday, August 6th. Absolutely crazy story. Had to do another video because this all ties back into the death of Fernando Arroyos. I believe this indictment came down because of the death of Officer Arroyos. Florencia 13's been around for 70 plus years. But once this murder happened, everything changed.
Over Linwood this morning, the scene of a federal takedown targeting a criminal street gang. FBI agents and LA County deputies raided 30 homes linked to the South LA gang Florencia 13. Investigators say the gang is responsible for the 2022 killing of LAPD officer Fernando Arroyos. After today's arrest of dozens of gang members, prosecutors unsealed indictments charging 37 people with 3 murders, drug trafficking, and extortion.
Today by law enforcement officials involving the takedown of one of the biggest and destructive street gangs in our area. 37 people associated with the South LA Florencia 13 have been arrested following raids on 30 homes early this morning. Authorities say they funded the gang through armed robberies, extortion, and the sale of illegal drugs, including fentanyl, methamphetamine, and heroin. They're also accused in murders and assaults.
The indictments we announced today target the leadership of the gang on the outside. And that leadership on the outside committed some deplorable acts.
Just last month, 3 members of the Florencia 13 were sentenced to at least 35 years in prison for killing off-duty LAPD officer Fernando Arroyos during a robbery 2 years ago.
Let's take a live look right now at a news conference in Linwood where the U.S. Attorney's Office just announced the takedown of one of the largest criminal street gangs in L.A., Florencia 13. The U.S. Attorney says 3 men recently sentenced for killing LAPD officer Fernando Arroyos back in 2022 were from the gang. The U.S. Attorney unsealed 11 indictments charging 37 gang members with a number of crimes, including racketeering, conspiracy, and drug trafficking. The FBI, the LAPD, and the LA County Sheriff's Office worked together to arrest at least 29 gang members so far. We'll have more on this gang bust on
Yes, good evening, and that's right. This press conference just wrapped up a few minutes ago, and federal prosecutors are charging 3 alleged gang members and an associate with federal charges, and that's because Sheriff Alex Villanueva says he did not want local district attorney George Gascon prosecuting this case because he says Gascon was not planning to add gang enhancements. Now take a look. We want to show you the names of these suspects. The suspects are identified as 29-year-old Luis Alfredo de la Rosa Rios, 22-year-old Ernesto Cisneros, 34-year-old Jesse Contreras, and 18-year-old Haley Grisham, who is the girlfriend of one of the alleged gang members. And at a federal level, they're charged with violent crime and aid of racketeering, which carries a potential death penalty and minimum life sentence in federal prison with no parole. And Sheriff Villanueva says they did not want District Attorney Gascon prosecuting this case. Take a listen.
If the district attorney, that's their prosecutorial stance, we have the freedom and the ability to apply and look for other sources of prosecution.
Is this a rebuke to George Gascon?
I think it speaks for itself, really.
Police say Officer Arroyos and his girlfriend were looking at a home on East 87th Street when a black pickup truck with the 4 suspects pulled up. 2 of the suspects allegedly confronted Arroyos and his girlfriend, pointing guns and robbing them, including taking Arroyos' chains. And after taking the chains, police say Arroyos and the suspects started shooting at each other, and Arroyos died from his injuries. Now, he was off duty when the shooting happened, and his devastated mother told us Wednesday Arroyos wanted to be an officer since he was a child. Take a listen.
Somebody say my son is died, passed away. It's terrible for me. He say always, I want a police, I want a police. He go to Berkeley, he graduation for honors and everything. But he say always, he say, I want a police, and he's police.
And Arroyos was an officer with the LAPD for 3 years, and we're told that these suspects will now be moved into federal custody tomorrow morning, and they will also be arraigned tomorrow morning. So we'll, of course, keep track of this developing story. Reporting live this evening, I'm Coco McAvoy, Fox 11 News.
Yeah, George Gasco noticeably absent from that press conference.
What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. Another episode of Greenlit Gang TV. Gonna jump right into it here. So, Tuesday, August 6, 2024. 37 members of Florencia 13 were indicted at the federal level. All sorts of crimes, you guys. All sorts of street activity. Fentanyl trafficking, extortion, 3 murders, including that of a man that was beaten to death outside of a bar in the gang's, quote, territory. Today's takedown resulted in the arrest of 23 Florencia 13 members and associates who are expected to be arraigned on 11 indictments this afternoon in the United States District Court in downtown Los Angeles. 6 of the defendants were already in state or federal custody, and authorities continue to search for 8 other defendants charged in these cases, including multiple defendants currently believed to be fugitives in Mexico. All right. As part of this investigation, law enforcement has seized approximately 21 pounds of methamphetamine, 9 pounds of fentanyl, 6.5 pounds of heroin. Authorities have also seized 25 firearms and approximately $70,000 in cash connected to the investigation. Quote, through murder, drug trafficking, violent robberies, and other criminal behavior, street gangs bring devastation upon our communities, said United States Attorney Martin Estrada. And he's the one you guys saw in the news clippings. I put some pictures up of him where he's standing up there, the light-skinned Hispanic guy. Quote, we must stand united against gang violence. Today's arrests and seizures demonstrate that we'll be relentless in combating these criminal organizations, end quote. Excuse me. Florencia 13 is known for its barbaric tactics, which tragically resulted in several murders alleged in the indictment. Said Akil Davis, the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles field office. So these are big offices, guys. If you're the FBI in LA, you swing a big stick, for lack of a better word. You swing a big stick. So, quote, residents of the community in which Florencia 13 operates deserve to live their lives without fear from violence and extortion, and this joint investigation demonstrates our shared commitment to that goal. Excuse me. Among a series of alleged racketeering-related crimes, during one incident on October 17th, 2022, a mob of Florencia 13 members, including Jonathan Reyes, 19 years old, a.k.a. Creeper of South Los Angeles, beat one victim to death in the early morning outside a bar in the Florence Firestone neighborhood of Los Angeles. The victim repeatedly was stomped, kicked, and punched and beaten with a baseball bat. The indictment further alleges that Jaramillo and co-defendant Oscar Hernandez, 30, a.k.a. Drex of South L.A. on June 19, 2023, murdered a victim identified in court documents as R.A., an F13 member who had violated the gang's rules. And this is how a lot of this stuff goes, guys. I mean, it's brutal. It's vicious. I consumed so much of this content before I started this channel, but when I started this channel, I really actually started reading through these indictments. Holy crap. I mean, it's no joke what goes on, and just one wrong step and they'll damn near kill you. They will damn near kill you. Yeah. Identified as R.A., an F13 member, he had violated the gang's rule. The day after R.A. was shot and killed, Jaramillo allegedly told fellow gang members that he wanted Hernandez inducted into F13's Joker's Clique because, quote, he proved solid. The following month, Jaramillo and Hugo Armando Pineda, 36 years old, a.k.a. Menace of South L.A., allegedly murdered This is all, they all abbreviate with initials, DE. Another Florencia 13 member in bad standing. So they're taking off their own, man. If you get out of line, it's a wrap. The rest of this superseding indictment alleges a series of criminal activity by Jaramillo and others, including the running of casitas, or illegal after-hours bars and clubs, including collection of extortionate taxes from them, trafficking of narcotics such as fentanyl and methamphetamine, and illegal use and possession of firearms. A second indictment unsealed today charges 8 Florencia 13 associates, including Saul Avon Quintero, 50, of Bellflower, with drug-related crimes, including conspiracy to distribute fentanyl, meth, and heroin, and illegally using and possessing firearms and ammunition. Finally, 9 additional Florencia 13 members and associates are charged in 8 separate indictments with methamphetamine distribution counts, and another Florencia 13 member is charged in a separate indictment with possession of an unregistered firearm, a felon in possession of firearms and ammunition. So yeah, just crazy. The gang dates back some 70 years in LA. It gained and this is important, you guys, it gained notoriety following the shooting death, which we on this channel have covered extensively. I've done 2 pretty in-depth videos on this, especially the first one. Please go check it out, on the death of LAPD officer Fernando Arroyos, who was off duty and house hunting with his girlfriend when they were targeted in that armed robbery. Those 3 members were Jesse Contreras, Luis Alfredo de la Rosa Rios, and Ernesto Cisneros. They all pled guilty in 2023. And then they were all sentenced to long terms in federal prison. And for those of you that don't know, the reason they got a Fed case was because basically the beef between the sheriff's office and the state attorney's office got so bad that the sheriff's office and the LAPD said, "Nah, we don't trust you guys to prosecute this the right way." They went over the state prosecutor's head, Garcon, and they went straight to the federal level and had these guys get put away for a very long time. Because when the feds give you a number, that's the number. And, I mean, there are maybe some, they say, like, you got to do 85% of your time. But, yeah. So, the number 13 in the gang's name signals its affiliation with the Mexican Mafia, a powerful prison gang. Martin, going back to Martin Estrada, the U.S. attorney, he said, many of the members and leaders of this gang are imprisoned. But this is important to remember, and I actually did want to put this in the video because it's important. But the gang cannot operate and cannot function without the members on the outside. Those are the people who follow the orders to commit murders and assaults. Those are the people who raise money for the gang through the extortions, the robberies, and the sales of drugs, Estrada said. And it's true, because you do got the big dogs upstate. You got the big dogs in the federal and state prisons, but you got to have somebody doing the work. You got to have somebody leaving prison or coming up in the streets that are hey man, they're suited and booted. They're ready to put in work. They're ready to do their thing. And if you're taking out big chunks of those people, it greatly hurts your organization. But yeah, the reason I was looking forward to making this video is because we've covered the death of Officer Arroyos so much. And you're not going to tell me that this indictment comes down after a year or 2 of this investigation. That didn't play a part when literally in the beginning of 2022, this murder happened of Officer Arroyos. And now here we are 2.5 years later, and they're taking down a huge chunk of the gang. It just goes hand in hand, man. And there's a reason they do that. And it goes to show you, man, taking out a cop and all that, hey, you're going to get a lot of street credit. You're going to get a lot of attention. But, man, a hefty price will be paid for that. And for some, it's a risk. It's a badge of honor. It's something that they're willing to do and take on. And for others, it's like, man, we're trying to fly under the radar here. We're trying to get our money and not have these problems. But there you guys have it. A quick update. 37 members indicted on August 6th. Florencia 13. Until next time, later.